Hey everybody, this is Troy. In my last video, I covered Garuda Linux, the final verdict. I used it for 90 days, let you all know what I felt about it, how my workflow went, and how I really thought it was a great distribution. I also stated in that video that my 90 days were up. It's time for me to move on. One of the things that I made a mistake with when I first started this channel was that I was on Manjaro for 4.5 years. And as a content creator now, and as somebody that wants to share Linux with a community that's interested in Linux, I found out for myself that sticking with one distribution with what I'm doing is the wrong way to go. So what I'm doing now is switching distributions every 90 days. I'm going to use it for my production, use it for making my videos, and then at the end of that 90 days, let you all know just how good or bad I believe it is, or how it affected my workflow. Now, I stated in that video, I wanted suggestions. What do you, the community, want to see me move to? And overwhelmingly, there were two different titles that kept coming up. Two different distros, OpenSUSE and Nobara. Now, at the end of the day, Nobara won out. I had more people saying that I ought to give it a try. I know there are other Linux YouTubers out there that have looked at it, done reviews on it. So that's what I'm going to do today. We're actually going to download Nobara. We're going to do a full install, and then I'm going to go through how easy it is to download applications that you use on a daily basis and just get it up and running on your system. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go over to the nobaraproject.org. And when you come over here, it tells you right off the bat, we recommend using Balena Etcher to burn the ISO to a USB. Now, I'm going to use something different. It always works for me, and I'll show you that here in a second. But I want to go over a couple things here real quick of what they talk about on the website. Now, if any of you are familiar with Nobara, or even if you haven't heard of it, the main developer is Glorious Eggroll. Now, he's a member of the Red Hat team, he's a member of the Lutris team, and I believe the Proton team. So this system is going to have a lot of things injected into it that are going to help with gaming or content creation. Now, having said that, these things aren't just for the gamers or for the content creators. What this is going to do is give you an overall easier setup of a Fedora type distribution. Now, what do I mean by that? A lot of the things that you have to do after you do a fresh install of Fedora are already done for you. It's more of a plug and play and just go and use the distro, as opposed to, okay, now I've installed it, I've got an hour's worth of things that I need to do to it to get it to where I need it to be. You don't have to worry about this one. You just install it, download your applications, and you're ready to go. And that's what people are wanting nowadays in the Linux community. There are a lot of new people that come over and say, I just want something that's easy to use out of the box. That's why you have so many people that love MX Linux or Pop OS. They just plug it in, go, and they're ready. Now, what Nobara does is takes a Fedora installation and makes it as easy as a Linux Mint or, say, a Pop OS. Now, you've got three different versions you can get from their website. One is the official, one is GNOME, and one is KDE. Now, the official is basically GNOME, but it's been pre-enabled with extensions for a different cosmetic look. Then you have the GNOME environment, then you have the KDE environment. And you can come down here and you can download the official right here, or you can download GNOME here, or you can get KDE right here. Now, one of the things I want to go over with you real quick is on this page right here, I just want you to go up and click the icon up beside Nobara Project. When you click on that, it'll tell you what is the Nobara Project. And it tells you the site is a work in progress and gives you a little bit of information right here that I suggest you read over. But when you come down here, it kind of lets you know what is different about this distribution as opposed to just a regular Fedora. It lets you know that kernel's patched with cherry-picked Zen patches. It's patched with OpenRGB. It's patched with AMD CPCC. Kernel is also patched to enable AMD GPU for pre-Polaris cards by default instead of Radeon. Kernel's patched with Steam Deck support. The kernel is configured with Ashman, Bender, and Android support for Waydroid. Kernel's patched with Windows Surface support. Mesa Git is provided for AMD and Intel drivers. glibc's patch with clone 3 disabled. DNF fast mirror is automatically enabled, so you don't have to do that. GNOME variable refresh rate patches added for Mutter. GNOME Mutter, Wayland, and X11 fractional scalings enabled by default. GNOME shells patched. GameScope version regularly updated. It just does a lot of things right here out of the box that you as a user don't have to worry about. NVIDIA cards, NVIDIA GPU detection and driver auto installation. SDL2 has been patched to fix an NVIDIA frame rate issue. And please be aware that only NVIDIA GPUs that work with driver version 515 or newer are compatible. Blender's installed out of the box. DaVinci Resolve. Dependencies are installed. It works easily on a fresh install. So if you install this freshly, go download DaVinci Resolve. You'll be able to use it right out of the box. But do remember, there's no H.264 or H.265 support on the free version of DaVinci on Linux. So when you do render something, it's going to come out in a humongous size format. You can also go over to FFmpeg if you need to and change that up. OBS is installed out of the box. Wine is included in the installation. Has Proton Up Qt included in the installation. Discord, Flatpaks are enabled by default in the installation. Nautilus, it's got the classic type ahead functionality restored. This allows you to start typing and it'll take you to the file that's closest to the name that you're typing. Button for toggling between breadcrumb navigation and text navigation. A workaround added to fix not being able to drag and drop. RPM Fusion repos are enabled out of the box. If you're not familiar with RPM Fusion, if you're an Arch user, it's a lot like the AUR. It gives you packages that aren't available in the official repositories. Steam is included in the installation. Lutris, Mango HUD, Go Overlay, and GameScope are included in the installation. Kdenlive, should you be doing any kind of video editing, is included in the installation. Now, this is a change. LibreOffice is no longer included. It's OnlyOffice included in the installation. Now, if you don't like OnlyOffice, it's easy to go over and uninstall it and install LibreOffice. Cups for printer support is installed. VaporSynth, FFms2 is included. And down here, it lets you know that RPM Fusion packages basically what I just told you. And then you come down to the bottom, and it says the Nobara AppStream repository contains packages which would otherwise be available in RPM Fusion free or non-free repositories. So they've taken their own little repository, put these applications in it because it's been modified and patched to work smoother and better on Nobara. So those would include Blender, OBS Studio GStreamer, Discord, Telegram, and MPV. Now we scroll back up to the top. Now what you will notice is if you go over to download and click on download, you can come over here. If you're in Europe, you would use the EU mirror, and if you're in North America, you would use the download mirror here. When you click that, it will pop up an end user license agreement. Now this isn't something that says that they're going to be taking information from you. This is basically letting you know this is a hobby distribution. It is not to be used in production environments. But everybody that I know that is using it is enjoying it freely, and it really works well for them. You understand all Nobara specific packages and code modifications have been created by the end user individuals. You understand that this distribution is not to be considered a Fedora spin. It is completely independent from the Fedora project. By downloading, installing, and using this distribution, you agree that Nobara, Fedora, Red Hat, RPM Fusion, and Copper related developers are not responsible for any kind of damage. And then it comes down and lets you know about the free repository, non-repository, but it doesn't say anything in here about any kind of data collection. Basically what it's saying is, hey, you as an end user, this is a hobby distribution that we're putting together. It's not supported by Fedora. You're using it at your own risk. So once you say, I agree, it'll start downloading. And then if you disagree, it will not download. So I'm going to click disagree so we can back out. So that right there would get the download started for you. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to close out of this. And a few little housekeeping details if you're going to leave your present distribution and go to Nobara. What you'll want to do is come down here, whatever applications that you use the most and you're going to need, I would make a list of those. Write them down so that way you know when you get Nobara installed that you have to install those applications. Next thing I would do is get a USB if you have one handy, and go ahead and any documents or downloads or music or pictures or videos that you need to transfer over to your new installation, you can back those up on a USB and have those safe so you don't lose any of that information. Now, I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. And now let's say you've already downloaded Nobara. You're going to burn it to a USB. Now I'm actually using a Arch-based distribution. And what I used was OpenSUSE Studio. But you could go up to your software provider. Let's say you go to Octopi and you go to ImageWriter. Once that's open, you'd put in something like ImageWriter. And there's my ImageWriter right there. You would click on that. It shows that it's already installed, which is what I'm using. But just find the ImageWriter of your choice. If you're on Windows, you can use Balena Etcher. It's awesome. It's beautiful. It makes things real easy to do. But once you have that USB burned, once you have all your information and documentation backed up on a USB drive, and you've made that decision to switch to Nobara, what you'll have to do is go find your boot key, boot menu key for either your laptop or your desktop PC. Now that'll be F12, F2, escape. It just depends, so that when you do put the USB in and you restart your system, you press that key, and when it brings up the boot menu, you would pick the USB. Now, once you do that, you will get a screen that looks something like this. Now, what I'm doing at present is I'm doing this in a GNOME boxes for the simple fact I don't have screen capture. I just want to show you what you're going to be seeing. You're going to get this screen that says Start Nobara 36, Test This Media, or Troubleshooting. So what you want to do is hit Start and let that boot up. Now, once it's booted up, you'll be met with this screen right here, and I'm English and United States, so I'll go ahead and click Continue. And it will come over here, and it will say System, User Settings, User Creation, Automatic Partitioning Selected. Let's go ahead and click on that, and we're going to pick this right here. This will have your hard drive. Yours will be a lot bigger than 20 gigabytes because I am in GNOME boxes. So we've selected that. You'll click Done, and when you come back to the screen, the little yellow flag will be gone. Come over to Root Account, User Settings. You'll want to go ahead and enable a root account. Go ahead and put in your password. And click Done. And then everything is done over here. So what you can do now is click on Begin an Installation. Now, when you begin the installation, it will actually install it. You will actually put your username and everything in after it is installed. What we're going to do right now is we've made it this far. I'm going to go ahead and install this on my hardware. And the only thing that I'm going to use when I get done rebooting is OBS Studio, which is already installed. And we will go over the next steps of things you need to do after you install Nobara. Well, now that we have it installed, and let me go ahead and say this, there were some things I couldn't cover on camera. And that was basically the username setup, password setup, and then whether you wanted to have location services or automatic reporting of issues with your install. Now, you can set those however you want them. I turned them all off and just set up my username and password. Once you're at this point, you've got one thing you need to do right off the bat, and that's to update your system. Now, you can do this one of two ways. You can go over to your software center. So let's go ahead and open that up. And you can go over here to Updates, and it'll say System Updates and eBuzz M17N. Now, what you can do here is if you would rather do it by command line, you can open up your terminal and you can type in sudo dnf upgrade. Now, you have two availabilities here. You've got sudo dnf upgrade or update. Update basically sends you to upgrade. So just use upgrade. It does the same exact thing if you want it to. The fast mirrors are already installed. So you've got two different ways you can update or upgrade your system. I'm going to go ahead and do it from command line, but you can do it right here from the software center. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter and put in my password. And the updating will begin. Now, in previous videos, I have set here to let you know that I'm not doing any tricks with the camera to show you everything is being installed, but I'm going to go ahead and let this run its course, and when it's done, I'll be back with you. Okay, we're getting close to it being finished. It's doing some cleanup after the install of the updates. And right now, it's running the kernel core 5.19.9 201F sync, and it is complete. So the next thing you're going to want to do is restart your system. Now, seeing how we updated from command line, You don't want to hit restart and update here. Just close that out. Now, if you do update from here, all you have to do is hit restart and it'll restart and update your system. So let's close out of this. And I'm going to go ahead and come up here and click power off. And once it restarts, I will be back with you. Okay, so everything is installed and we're updated, upgraded. And as you can tell down here, I've already pinned some of the programs that I'm going to use to the dock. Now, one thing I do want to do, I do not like having to hit the super key to get to my dock. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and open this up, and I'm going to find Extension Manager. We're going to go ahead and open that up, and I want to browse. And what I'm going to look for is Dash to Dock. And we'll bring that up. Now, what I'm going to want to do is use the Dash to Dock for Cosmic. One of the reasons I use it over the other ones, this one seems to be less buggy. So I'm going to go ahead and click Install, and we're going to install that real quick. And there it pops right up. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back to Installed. And as you can see, I've already adjusted the size of my icons down a little bit because out of the box, they come as 48. And as you can see, when I close this, they're kind of big for me. I like having them a little smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. And let's go ahead and open it back up. And let's go to Settings. They're on 48. I'm going to run those down probably about there and close it. It makes it a little smaller because I'm going to be pinning a lot of things down here, and I just don't want this whole area down here to be taken up. But what it will do is once you maximize, it will disappear unless you hover back down over it. But like I said, make sure you get the Dash to Dock that is for Cosmic. Now I'm going to go ahead and close out of that, and I've already uninstalled some applications that I won't be using, like Blender, Lutris, things like that. It's real easy to do. All you got to do is go to the Software Center, bring this up, and it'll bring up your installed applications. You just find applications here that you're not going to use, go over and click uninstall, and then you'll be good to go. And just kind of clean your system up. Make it yours. That's what this is all about. Customizing this operating system to make it yours. Well, today starts the first day of my 90 days on Nobara OS. And this video actually will be the first video I edit in Nobara OS. We're just going to give it a shot, see how it operates on a daily basis for 3 months. Are you somebody that uses Nobara OS already? Or are you somebody that might think about installing it after watching this video? And is there something in the video that you think I should have covered that I didn't? If you're any of these, let me know about that in the comments below. Do me a big favor before you leave today. Please like, subscribe, or follow my channel. Doesn't cost anything, and if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we are producing, you can support us by becoming a member to the channel, buying us a cup of coffee, going over to PayPal and throwing us a donation, or zip on over to Patreon and become a patron to the channel. Those links will be included in the description below. As always, thank you for watching my video, and I will see you in the next video.